Thank you, thank you, thank you, Limpopo. Thank you. Thank you, Limpopo. The song, comrades, is about the interpretation of what would have been a two-port system. But added with SARS, now it's no longer two-port, but it's three. And the three fingers refers to the three-port system instead of two-port. Now, when you do the cooking, you do that in a pot, and that is called picha. Yes, picha ke namona. This is the pot. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. GS, we need to start. Thank you, comrades. Please take your seats. Please take your seats. We are slightly behind schedule, so we want to start. We're starting as on page 10 with the address by Palestinian unions, and the GS will do the honorable thing. GS.
Matla, Aruna, long live Sadtu, long live. Right, comrades, can we settle down so that we can allow our speakers the opportunity to address us? Those who are still walking, please, can you do so quietly so that we can have these addresses. First, let me acknowledge all the guests that have arrived after we have introduced the others, all of them. We want to acknowledge you. We thank you for being here. And then also acknowledge Mrs. Masdorp, the acting HOD of the Eastern Cape. I think she has been here since yesterday. We welcome you. We always invite our heads of departments and the Director General to be part of our National Congress. In 2019, we also invited the MECs. We have seen our MEC from Gauteng was here. Comrade Chilwane was part of our Congress so that they can have the feel, but also appreciate the deliberations that will be taking place so that as they plan in the Department of Education, they understand the spirit of some of the resolutions that we sent to them for implementation or for negotiations. So we welcome you and we welcome all the other departmental officials that are here today and they have been here yesterday and all our partners that are here. I want to take this opportunity, comrades and delegates, to introduce to our Congress our comrade from Palestine, who is the General Secretary of the GUPT, which is a union of teachers in Palestine and all the other areas that basically are part of the state of Palestine. Comrade Said, since his election, has been actively involved in initiative to support our educators in Gaza and West Bank. A number of initiatives had to do with psychosocial, emotional issues. Because teachers in West Bank and in Gaza have been subjected to this psychological torture, oppression, and suppression for many, many years. So he works with Development Corporation of Education International, leading that particular initiative with all the other organizations within EI that are supporting, including Sadtu, these initiatives to support the teachers and train the teachers to work in those particular environments where they will be shelled with bombs and so forth. One thing about our General Secretary, Said, is that he's a professional, an activist in his own right, who is part and parcel of the struggles of the people of Palestine. He works with the government, works with all the organizations that are there. He had made it possible for Education International to work with ITUC to bring all the global federations in the world to Palestine, where we met with the President of the State of Palestine and the Prime Minister of the State of Palestine, where we met with a number of ministers and officials of the departments, in all the departments, not only in education, but all the departments, so that these trade union leaders from the global federation should appreciate the environment, appreciate the sufferings and the atrocities that are being perpetuated by Israel in Palestine. So he is in that situation. He leads in that situation. He is part of an initiative of Education International and all the other unions to fight for the release of the teachers who have spent more than a year, and some have left young babies at home. Some are sick, in jail, without trial. In the recent months, we are fighting for the release of Fatima from the kindergarten union in Palestine. Refused to have access to the lawyers, refused to have access to visit by the families, something that we have endured in South Africa, where Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, Walter Sisulu, and the rest of our leaders have been subjected to that environment. So I want to call upon Comrade Said to address us and share with us what is happening, because the target and the fight is to education. The people of Palestine believe in education. You will be humbled, comrades. You will be humbled. If you are a true revolutionary, a true teacher, who understand the role of a teacher, you will be humbled when you see the teachers who work in those areas, in that environment, and forever saying, we want our children to be taught. We want to go and teach our children. We want to work. He will tell you about the fact that teachers have not been paid. The fact that the Israel government has blocked the salaries of the teachers in terms of money that must flow in, money that belongs to Palestine and has to flow back into Palestine. It's not flowing back. He will share with you. I do not want to take the steam from him. He will share with us. Said, this is your organization. And I want to also acknowledge the Deputy President that is with and our Deputy Ambassador that he is with. Over to you, my comrade.
Good morning, our colleagues. Long life, Sadtu. Long life, South Africa. Long live Palestine. My brother Magwina, thank you very much about your words that talk about me and about the GUBT. GUBT, the union is not only for Palestine, it's the union for you and for all of colleagues here in the Congress. Dear colleagues, at the 10th National Congress of Sadtu, I am honored to address you today. I am proud to be among you and deeply appreciate your invitation to this land of struggle and liberation, this land of Nelson Mandela, South Africa. I come to you from a place that has never truly known peace, carrying with me the trust of people who face daily violence, killed, wounded, and arrested. A people who endorse injustice and yearn for freedom and independence. Our Palestinian people are experiencing a perilous phase in their history, facing existential threat as the Israeli occupation declares war to eliminate our presence in Gaza and West Bank. Before I continue, I want to share some shocking statistics about the situation in Palestine. These figures highlight the urgent need for solidarity and support to our teachers and the students. Today marks 356th day of the ongoing war against our people, with over than 41,500 killed and more than 96,000 injured, and over than 10,000 missing. The Israeli occupation has completely or partially destroyed over than 315 of schools and destroyed all the universities in Gaza. Now, no universities in Gaza, leading a complete suspension of education in Gaza for this year, and more than 625,000 of students are deprived of their right of education. The occupation has claimed the lives of over than 11,000 of students and wounded more than 17,000. It has also killed over than 500 of teachers and university professors and injuring more than 3,600. Our people subjected to a war of extermination. Israel has killed one or both parents of at least 15,000 Palestinian children in Gaza. UN agency report that an average 10 children in Gaza lost one or both legs each day. The Israeli occupation has devastated our infrastructure, roads, electricity network, telephone network, water lines, hospitals, school, all of houses, all of building. More than 85% of the building and houses are destroyed in Gaza. It has closed borders and preventing the entry of food or medical aid and fuel, and pushing our people back to the Stone Age. Many have displaced and forced to flee to the central Gaza Strip, which now houses over than 1.7 million people. The occupation is waging a war of starvation, with dozens of children dying from hunger. What is happening to our people is a humanitarian catastrophe. Over 12,000 individuals has been imprisoned, enduring torture day and night, with some subjected to horrific acts of sexual violence. The dissemination of those who will have realized reveal unimaginable levels of suffering, deprivation of sleep, food, and water, along with constant beating and humiliations. In the West Bank, the situation is not better. Cities are destroyed, and communities are isolated by over than 800 security checkpoints, transforming villages and towns into open prison. This checkpoint open from 8 a.m. clock and they close at 6 p.m. close. Then we cannot go through any village to any citizen. Further destruction, movement, and freedom. Dear colleagues, standing with Palestine is standing with the truth. It is standing with justice and the humanity. At the forefront of solidarity with our people is the Republic of South Africa. Thank you, South Africa. South Africa, the country of Nelson Mandela. We gather today not only to express solidarity, but to reaffirm our shared dream of freedom, echoing from the ruins of classrooms in Gaza to the halls of the South Africa schools. I am honored to convey a message of support on behalf of Palestinian teachers and wish you success in achieving the union's goals. Thank you for the warm welcome and hospitality extending to us here. On behalf of our people and political leadership, I express our deep appreciation to the Republic of South Africa for its steadfast support of Palestinians, particularly its leadership in bringing Israeli actions before the International Court of Justice, ICJ, and the International Criminal Court, ICJ. This action underscore the importance of upholding international law. We take great pride in the historical relationship between our struggles, which officially being in 1964 with the meeting of two great leaders, Oliver Tambo and Khalil al-Wazir in Algeria. As we continue our fight against apartheid in our pursuit of freedom, independence, and dignity, we are boosted by global acknowledgement. Finally, thank you for listening and for standing with our people. Free, free for Palestine. Free, free Palestine. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Palestine. Let me just check. Is COSAS here? If they are not here, we will proceed. Memo Haole, the DBE Deputy Minister, still not yet here. GS, there are some outstanding items from yesterday. The Secretariat report and Finance report. How you manage that? Okay. Comrade Treasurer, we're starting with the Finance report. So please come forward.
Thank you, Comrade President. We want to thank you for allowing us to present the financial report. In terms of the overview as provided for in the Constitution, the General Secretary shall present the report to the Congress together with the National Treasury. I am here to invite the National Treasurer to present the report as prepared by the National Executive Committee for a period of 5 years, where in terms of the Constitution, we are expected as an organization that on an annual basis, we sit in the National Executive Committee and appoint our auditors. Our auditors are RSM, whom I have introduced yesterday, and they are here as part of this Congress. They have performed the audits for this period of 5 years, before as Ngubane and Company or Incorporation, and later RSM. So the report will cover the period 2019 up to 2023 in terms of the audits, because we only audit our report at the end of the year, which is 31st December. However, the Treasurer will be able to then show that there are no after balance sheet events, but also show how, as an organization, we have prudently managed the finances of the organization. Money is the source of all evils. But I don't say that you must not aspire to be rich, because poverty is also not a virtue. We are not born to be poor because Africa is not poor. Over to you, Treasurer.
Mandla. Amandla. Long live Sadtu, long live. Long live Sadtu, long live. Down with capitalism, down. Down with capitalism, down. Forward to socialism, forward. Forward to socialism, forward. Thank you so much, comrades. Greetings to the Congress. Thank you, Comrade General Secretary, for introducing the finance report, which of course, as we start with our report, we want to give you the economic overview, which of course is relevant to our report on the basis that it is going to advise Congress in terms of the economic trends that have been since the last Congress. Importantly, Comrade President, is that we want to focus largely on 2 years, which is 2022 and 2023, in terms of the movement of the markets. Understanding, of course, that in 2019 to 2020, largely the markets were interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. But we are, as we will be reporting, going to also indicate the impact that that has had on our union. So this comparative analysis that is made here is also going to be influenced by what we suffered at a particular point as a country because of load shedding. I am sure that when we speak about load shedding, amongst others, it's just a sore point that none of us would appreciate it coming back. But then, therefore, the question still stands if really we do not have load shedding anymore, Comrade Eddie in Gauteng. Because we see that load shedding has found its way back in another form that is characterized, or that is termed that it is load reduction. But the characteristics are the same as those of load shedding. But then when each time there is that loss in terms of electricity, there is a loss in terms of the markets and the business that are in operation. Comrade Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Dolopi, we are presenting, of course, in terms of the trends themselves, but importantly, to say that as teachers in the country, we may have been affected one way or the other by the pandemic at the time. But from the financial point of view, we were fortunate as teachers because we continued to get our salaries. We are then therefore proceeding with our report and reporting in terms of our strategic goal number 5, which speaks of ensuring a delivery-based organizational excellence. We're reporting that after the Congress itself, as a union, we're able to sit down and come up with a 5-year strategic plan. That plan came out with activities and programs that were going to take the union to the 10th National Congress as we are here today. We planned activities, amongst others, was that we developed a financial management calendar, a calendar that was going to assist us to be able to manage our finances. We developed annual budgets from the last Congress up until to this Congress today. And then we were able also to ensure that without fail, we implement the finance manual and create a bookkeeping capacity for the organization that was to ensure that all financial practitioners within the structures of the organization are indeed empowered as to how to go about managing this very, very crucial part, which is the finances, being the backbone of any organization. Comrade President, in terms of the first program, what we did was to develop the financial management calendar, and in that, we can be able also to say that in as far as representation was concerned, for the term under review, we've had Limpopo and KZN, members of the National Executive Committee, forming part of the National Finance Committee. With regards to the treasurers, the Northern Cape, as well as the Eastern Cape, have been the treasurers that have been forming part of the FinCom. In terms of the achievements of the FinCom, amongst others, we can confidently report to Congress that we managed to hold meetings according to the stipulations, because we recognize that as the Finance Committee, we are indeed the standing committee of the National Executive Committee. And our responsibilities, amongst others, was to ensure that the financial management of the union was looked after, whilst it was then shared with the Secretariat, which was responsible for the administrative part. In terms of the challenges, because indeed if you do not report any challenges, it will not seem that we have been working. So since the start of the COVID-19 in 2019, indeed what we can report is that there has been a disturbance in terms of the audit process itself. Understanding, of course, that as an organization, on an annual basis, we ensure that before the end of the first quarter, we would have undergone an external audit of the prior year. But because of the disturbances with the pandemic, we have been having delays. But good coming out of those delays is that we have been audited externally. Delays or not delays, but the audits have been conducted. Although amongst the challenges, of course, we are outlining that you will have the 2019 immediately after the Congress in 2020 when we were subjecting the union to the audit of 2019 books. The conclusion thereof was in January 2022. In terms of 2020, as a financial year for the union, and 2021 respectively, they were concluded in the same year as in 2022. But as we have just also said, that the delay within the audits itself was due to the working environment, which of course the auditors could not be able to come to our provincial offices as well as the national office, but rather could be done off-site. So that is why there was this delay. Comrade President, we are also reporting in terms of our Sadtu Savings and Credit Cooperative Limited, which is, of course, our SACCO bank. We are reporting that the registration of this bank was done in 2014, and in 2019, that was when it was finalized, that it was indeed now registered as a cooperative bank. But we must also indicate that the recruitment for the SACCO, as leaders that are here and all of us comrades can be able to remember that in all our gatherings as a union, we have indeed incorporated the recruitment for SACCO membership, but we are not happy about the membership currently that we are posting as the SACCO. At a particular point, when immediately after its registration, the Sadtu national accountant was seconded onto SACCO for him to work there as a managing director, and we must, as well as Congress, appreciate the good work that has been done by your comrade Sihle Ngubane. He has been up and about in all the structures of the organization, telling us
we cannot continue with the traditional way of teaching our children. As we speak, the three-stream model, we need to look at strengthening the vocational subjects, that as they pass, they must just go straight to work. We must increase the technical subjects. We must increase the other than pushing all of them to go the academic route. Academic route should be a choice, because as basic education, we must respond to the needs of the economy of this country. here to wish you well in your conference and to ask you that please continue to strengthen Sadtu. Without Sadtu, the sector will not be strong. So continue, and continue to make sure that most teachers come back home to Sadtu. Sadtu is their home. Amandla.
That's a politician.
KZN, are you going to give us a song? Okay, continue routing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gauteng. Thank you. Thank you, Gauteng. Thank you, Gauteng. Thank you, Gauteng. Let's break for lunch, comrades, and come back at 2 o'clock. We're running behind time. 2 o'clock, we're back. Let's break for lunch. Thank you very much. If you go beyond 20 minutes, you'll deal with everything else in the commissions. Kosas?
Amandla. Amandla. Awethu. Matla. Matla. Arona. Viva Sadtu, viva. Viva Sadtu, viva. Viva the South African Communist Party, viva. Viva the MDM, viva. Viva the PYA, viva. Viva Kosas, 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 viva. Thank you very much, comrades. I was given 5 minutes. The first option was 3 minutes. I tried to take the other one for 5 minutes at least to speak. And I thank the chairperson for that opportunity. My name is Unesongo Matikinga. I am the General Secretary, or the Secretary General, in fact, of the Congress of South African Students, duly elected in a conference that was sitting on Monday, from Monday up until Wednesday. So as I come here before you, comrades, probably I will also be engaging you on Congress resolutions. I was only elected yesterday, so you'll have to bear with me. Now I was saying to the GS here that no, I have to have 2 degrees because I'm already enrolled to 1, and I think it's very progressive, that thing, so I can't change it. But I'm also saying that at some point in my life I have to join Sadtu, because this union, as I was saying to the GS, is the most progressive union in this country. There is no other union that is more progressive than this union. You will never be able to find it. You can go compare even to your Naptosas. No, they're very weak. This one is the one, comrades. If you are here, you are not lost. You are not lost. Now, we support Comrade Sadtu in each and everything that it wants to pursue. Specifically, in terms of the policy discussions and perspectives that this conference will come up with. In our support to Sadtu, comrades, we're also outlining something critical that has been happening over the years. Mistakes, perhaps I would refer to them, that have been completely repeating themselves. COSAS and Sadtu, comrades, are one thing. COSAS and Sadtu have the same vision, they have the same objectives, they have the same mission. And therefore, these 2 organizations are organizations binded by their very policy positions. We are all people or organizations that defend the underprivileged, that defend the ones who come from the poor working class in our society and in our community. We are therefore saying, comrades, as COSAS, that this thing of Sadtu members denying access to COSAS leaders to enter into schools must stop. Under Sadtu leadership, where that the principal is from Sadtu or the teachers in the school are from Sadtu, COSAS must have full access to schools. Otherwise, what you are going to have as teachers yourselves, you are going to be disadvantaged in schools where learners have parallel views from your own. We have the same objectives. The reason why in our schools we have learners who are going to raise up guns and shoot teachers who come from this very union is because this union is not properly united in the ground with the one organization that could be able to protect even the rights of its own teachers. The reason why you are going to have a disunity in our classrooms, whereby scholars are able to take knives and threaten to kill teachers, is because the union Sadtu is not well engaged with COSAS in the ground. It is the first motivation, therefore, that we are giving, that for as long as we do not have our comrades from COSAS well engaged with branch secretaries and branch chairpersons and branch leaders generally of Sadtu on the ground, Sadtu teachers will never have a good working relation with scholars. And that we must be able to accept. Therefore, comrades were saying, this thing must completely stop. COSAS now under this NEC that has been elected, or at least under myself, is back full force. We are never going to back down, comrades. We are saying we are tired of having learners, scholars in our basic education system who are voiceless, who have voices of people who do not understand their rights, who do not even know what they stand for, who do not even know what learners go through, such as this minister that we have in the basic education department. People are busy debating on the Bella Bill, explaining the Bella Bill as though they understand what is going on at schools. Attend to those old men and women. Ask them whether they've been on the ground. Ask them whether they've been in the classroom. None of them have gone to the classroom, but they have the audacity to go and address media houses, Newsroom Africa, and speak on TV that there must not be an enactment of the Bella Bill because they think they know so much about learners. That thing must stop, comrades. We are the ones who know. Sadtu and COSAS know what scholars go through. Sadtu and COSAS have a direct relationship with scholars. We are the ones before each and every other stakeholder in the Department of Basic Education who are supposed to be engaged on what every stakeholder is deciding on. There is no decision of the Department of Basic Education that must be taken outside of Sadtu and COSAS. Everything that is decided upon by the department must go through Sadtu and COSAS firstly, because we are the ones who have direct relationship with scholars. Now, comrades, I will address specifically this issue of the Bella Bill. We have to have a voice, comrades, on that issue. We have to be able to address it. And the only perspective that we must carry is that this 3 months waiting period must stop. The Bella Bill must come to practice now, today and now. And as COSAS was saying, we are going to send the president a memorandum. Tell him that he must get that thing into practice now, or we are going to take to the streets. We want no 3 months waiting period because of a political party that comes and makes us think that it cares about the poor children of our communities. The DA does not care about what happens to the poor child. It does not care about what happens to the children in quintile 1, 2, and 3. An observation that I've made, comrades, and this is not gossip, it's true, because it's happening all over the news, is that we have a minister who's clueless. That is an observation that I've been making. We have a minister that is clueless. And we are saying as COSAS critically that that minister must go. This, comrades, comes to you as a conference resolution. There is no minister who's going to lead our department that comes from the DA. There is no minister that is going to lead our department that has completely no clues as to what is supposed to happen with the poor children in our community. The reason why there's a 3 months waiting period of the Bella Bill is not because they are concerned about the right standing of our schools, but it's because they are concerned about the disadvantage that the Bella Bill will have on the white and privileged kids of quintile 4, 5 and IEP schools. They are worried about the private schools that are not going to benefit from here. They are worried about the fact that we have a greater population of black children who are attending schools in majority but are being taught in Afrikaans. And not in Xhosa, not in the Siswati, not in the Sesotho, not in Tswana, but are taught in Afrikaans because of white monopoly capitalists who have taken our schools to their own control for their own personal benefit, for their own business profits that we do not care about, comrades. Here, comrades, as COSAS, we want to put it that we are serious, comrades, about our education. We've said in our conference when we're engaging that there are certain sectors of the economy that need not be defined by class. There are certain sectors of the economy that need not have class politics. We cannot be having at schools an engagement about which class benefits better than the other. There should not be class politics at schools. There should not be classism at schools wherein we are going to speak about privileged people and the underprivileged. There should not be a right to equality, therefore, even in our constitution, if we are going to say that this right to equality is subjected to schools wherein the other person will be able to have a laptop and a computer and the other one will write on a chalkboard, then the right to equality as amended in section 10 of the constitution must be taken out. There must not be a right to equality in South Africa because it is not correctly defined in practice within our basic education system. That right must be taken out of that constitution. It must not be debated in the constitution. It must not be debated in the South African Schools Act. It must not be debated or amended in the Bella Bill itself. It must come back to us. We engage on it. We tell the government what to do about that right. Because that right is clearly there for just it being English. There's no practice on it. If we are continuing to have kids who are going to be dropped off at school with BMWs, big cars, and kids who are going to walk on foot to school, having to cross rivers, swim across rivers because there are no bridges to get to school, expecting that there's going to be a better education there. There is no such a thing as equality. We are questioning that as COSAS. And in questioning that, we are saying, because we are saying this concept of neoclassism within education must take place, every school in South Africa must be nationalized. Every school in South Africa must provide what equally any other school provides. And we are needing and requesting the support of Sadtu to say, in demanding all of these things, we need backing from Sadtu. Because we cannot be speaking on issues of scholars that have different benefits from education system anymore. And quickly, because the chairperson is right behind me, I will address one last issue. I've heard in the secretariat report that probably it's not part of the secretariat report, but it was an input that was being made by the speaker that we need not change the curriculum. Comrades, as COSAS, we had engaged on this issue in our conference. And what we had said is that rather than deciding on never changing the curriculum, let's first decide on what then becomes the long-term solution to the curriculum that is so flawed that it only leads to failure, for example, at university institutions and TVET colleges. We need to first identify what is it that is a long-term solution to the curriculum problem that we have in South Africa. We have Zimbabwe, comrades, a country with a far less GDP than us, a country that is far less economically developed than us, but with the greatest education we'd ever possibly meet. So why are we failing to develop our own education if we have better resources? So we have to ask those questions, and I'm concluding, comrades, by saying we give full support to Sadtu in this conference, and we hope that whatever comes out, or whatever is the product of this conference, is a product of great perspectives and policies of Sadtu, influenced by nothing bad, but by the delegates who are seated here right in front of us. Thank you so much. Amandla!
Thank you, COSAS. Thank you. Thank you, COSAS. Comrades, we gave COSAS 12 minutes. We gave them 12 minutes. So it was not bad. Without much ado, we're left with 17 minutes to deal with questions of clarity. Can we start with finances?